As Barbara and Jade's daring heist enters its final stages, will the biggest threat to this plot be from within the crew or from outside it? Well, let's catch up on Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League issues number 3 and number 4 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we join issue 3, the entire heist crew moves into their new accommodations. It seems that Cheetah and Cheshire spared absolutely no expense, getting everybody set up in Morocco, not too far from Casablanca. Hey, fun little movie reference in there for you. The crew exchanges pleasantries, some know each other by reputation, and some are meeting each other for the first time, like Featherweight, who, as we learn in this issue, actually has quite the familial connections. You see, her full name is actually Alia Ratko, meaning that she is both the daughter of Nessa Ratko, the sister of Talia al Ghul, making her not only another granddaughter of Ra's al Ghul, but also cousin to Damian Wayne. And wow, is she nothing like the rest of her family. I bet there is a story there to be told one day. Though I suppose she did inherit her grandfather's activism, as we saw in the previous issue. Now that the team's all here, what is exactly the plan to rob the Justice League? Well, Cheetah has it all worked out with a series of slides like the ones you would find in a classic heist movie. Their goal is still the same, to steal the power vaults. And it's in this issue we actually find out what those things are. Apparently the Atoms cooked these devices up to back up superhero powers in case anything like what went down, with Amanda Waller and everyone's powers getting lost or jumbled like they did during the events of Absolute Power. It also basically means these things are more valuable than gold, with governments all over the world willing to bankrupt themselves for the chance to get just a little taste of real Justice League power. Cheshire and Cheetah, though, have other plans. They want to rent these abilities to the highest bidder so that they can bleed people dry forever. A great plan to be sure, but one with plenty of pitfalls. Not only do they have to worry about the hero stopping them, but God help them if any of the villains catch wind of this, as they too would be more than willing to move heaven and earth to get their grubby hands on those power sets. Now, as you would know if you've been reading Justice League Unlimited, the brand new Watchtower is probably the most state-of-the-art space installation ever designed. Not only is it staffed with Leaguers 24/7, not only is it overseen by a damn near omnipotent AI in the form of Red Tornado, they also have their own security team headed by Renee Montoya. The Question: the only way on board is to sneak inside a delivery hatch that is used to drop off necessities, or have a League ID card, and even then the League ID cards are 100% tied to the person who owns them, a creation of both high-tech technology, but also a sprinkling of magic just to make sure they really did cover all their bases. Now that sounds pretty impossible at face value, but our heist crew actually has a few things working in its favor. For one, there's going to be a meteor shower in a few days that should provide them cosmic cover. And two, while the League is bigger than it's ever been before, they're also busier than they've ever been before, meaning all they need to do is create the mother of all distractions and hit them when they're at their absolute weakness. So, there's still going to be a little prep time needed. For starters, they decide to infiltrate Ferris Air. Yes, that's right, Carol Ferris's company. They actually got the contract delivering supplies to the Watchtower, meaning that if Cheetah and Cheshire can steal the schedule, then they probably should be able to sneak aboard during the next delivery. Now that's the nuts and bolts, but there's also some very fun character stuff in this issue, to be sure. For one, Leanne desperately wants to be involved in the heist, even though her supervillain mother says that she can't. Basically, Jade says, hey, you made your choice when you put on a costume and joined your father fighting crime, but in reality, this is actually Jade trying to be a good parent for a change, which she does do sporadically. Then, of course, at the other end of the issue, you have Clarion the Witch Boy, who suddenly has the hots for Featherweight. Which, yes, they do play for laughs, the idea that he is a witch boy frozen in time and she is actually older than him technically, even though in reality he has been around for way longer. This will have to be put on the back burner, though, as the rest of the heist crew need Teakle for an important mission. It seems Jade and Hazard have picked just the proper leaguer who they plan to rob for his identity card, and wouldn't you know it, it's none other than Sideways, DC's Spider-Man alike. You see, the ladies just couldn't rob any leaguer, one, because they would be afraid of tipping their hand too early, but also they're afraid of getting hurt. But Sideways is perfect. He's young, dumb, and full of, well, himself. He also live streams his crime fighting and takes requests from his fan base on where he should go next, meaning that he could not be easier to walk into a trap. Featherweight makes it look like her cat is about to get squashed by traffic, only for Sideways to swoop on in and play the hero. Also, even though Cheshire told her to stay at home and not get involved, Leanne went on this mission anyway and was actually the one to pocket the key card herself because damn it, her mom doesn't get to tell her what to do, nor her dad for that matter. If she wants to be the sort of person to walk in two worlds, then what's stopping her? And honestly, that's a really good premise for a character. Also, hey, if you're a fan of D&D live shows, then you'll probably notice on the marquee there's a big sign for the 20-sided tavern. I love it when stuff like that makes it into comics. Personally, still waiting for Cape Joel to get mentioned somewhere. Now, while it looks like the plot is fully on the road, as issue 3 comes to a close, we end up getting one major wrench thrown into the scheme, and that is Clarion the Witch Boy has a secret clandestine meeting with some of the most powerful evil magic users in the DC universe. You see, the Watchtower just doesn't have the power vaults, they also have a bunch of contraband taken from all over the DC universe, including stuff that these guys would probably want. Now, as issue 4, the one that came out last week, starts, the final touches are being put into the plan. They have 24 hours to get everything in order, so they better hurry. This includes checking fault lines, grabbing rocks from the desert, and also corralling a bunch of rats, which I promise will make more sense later. Hazard is able to use her computer skills to see who exactly is going to be on active duty that night on the Watchtower, and everyone is shocked to realize that the shift leader is none other than Wonder Woman. This ends up causing a major rift between Cheshire and Cheetah as Jade naturally jumps to the conclusion that Barbara Ann purposefully put all of this together just so she could have the opportunity to spite her most hated adversary. And I mean, she's already doing this out of spite for the god who turned her into a cheetah, so why not stick it to Wonder Woman too while she's at it? Cheshire also doesn't trust Cheetah being that close to Wonder Woman, and because of that, she demands that they change the heist plan at the last second. Now it's going to actually be Leanne who gets sent through the front teleporter door with Sideways' ID, a fact of which doesn't make anyone happy, well, except for Leanne, who wanted to help anyway. Now, what about the distraction they talked about in the previous issue? Well, this is where Hazard comes in. They were checking out ley lines before because she's going to start a series of earthquakes all over the world to distract the League, and if you're thinking to yourself, geez, that's kind of easy for her to do with her luck probability powers, no, it's actually more difficult because she wants to create earthquakes that aren't going to actually hurt or kill anyone. And that's just the start of things too, as Clarion uses his magic powers to teleport her all around the world, causing fires, nuclear reactor meltdowns, magical crises, anything to catch the League's attention and draw them away from the Watchtower. And oh man, I gotta hand it to Greg Rucka too for some truly wonderful deep cuts here in this issue. We got Misfit, the fake Batgirl. From Gail Simone's Birds of Prey, Flex Mentallo, they even mention Equinox from the old Jeff Lemire stories, and man, that just warms my heart as a Canuck. Now, this is the moment too in every classic heist movie where unforeseen circumstances start coming into effect. For one, Blue Beetle and a bunch of the younger heroes are actually on the Watchtower tonight to try and watch the meteor shower from the best seats, meaning that there's going to be a lot more heroes to contend with. Featherweight manages to make it aboard via a spacesuit, a well-thrown rock, and hiding amongst all the meteor shower debris, which actually proves enough to actually trick the Red Tornado AI. What doesn't trick the Red Tornado AI, though, is Leanne's membership card ploy. They pretty much pick up right away that she isn't Sideways. Thankfully, though, she has her own League card, as they gave it to basically pretty much anyone who asked. Wonder Woman chops this up to a computer error, but stops Leanne in her tracks and asks her to step aside so she can be questioned by, well, the question. And I mean, you just knew Renee Montoya had to be part of this story, right? It's Greg Rucka. He would never miss the opportunity. Now, what was up with the rats? Well, that was actually to trick the challengers of the unknown. They open a shipment from Ferris, assuming it supplies, only to get completely run over by a massive sea of vermin. Cheetah also uses this transport as an opportunity to sneak aboard the ship. Unfortunately for her, she ends up coming face to face with Wonder Woman, aka the very thing everyone tried their hardest to stop just as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League issues number 3 and number 4, everybody, and man, am I glad I had a chance to catch up on this series because it is genuinely great, like easy contender for one of my best of the year entries. It's fun, it's exciting, it's funny, it's a great portrait of these villains. Leanne gets probably some of the best characterization I think she's ever got in anything. It also just feels like nothing else on the comic shelf right now. Greg Rucka has a real way about him, and it's why when he writes a book, it's such a big cause for celebration. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another 8.5 out of 10, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out in the end. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.